Hey everybody, Joe here. Nice of you to join me today. Thanks for coming. Okay. What we're going to be doing here today is a tutorial on how to do a firmware upgrade on one of these. This is the Wismec Reuleaux RX200-S model. First off, I don't have a 200 and I don't have a 2/3. But from what I understand from speaking with quite a few people is that doing the 200 and the 200 2/3 is going to be almost identical to doing it on the 200S. Okay? So pretty much what I'm going to be showing you here today is going to be appropriate for those devices as well. Also, I want to get this out of the way straight right now. I am a Windows guy. Okay? I do everything I do on Windows. What I'm using right now to record this program here is Windows. I'm using Windows 7 Service Pack 1 to be specific. So all the Windows that you're going to be seeing on here today are going to be Windows 7 Service Pack 1. This is also appropriate with some minor modifications in the graphical user interface for 8 and 10. So bear that in mind. Now, in the last couple of weeks, while I've been taking a little busman's holiday, I've been looking over the last tutorial that I did on upgrading the iStick iPower. I thank every one of you out there who has watched that video, who's made it pretty much the biggest video I have on my channel, and I'm been absolutely totally blown away by the response on it. I wish some of you guys would have been subscribing to my channel as well as just watching the video, but hey, what can I tell you? The views look great. Thank you so much. What I'm doing here today is, as I promised a while back, to show you how to do it on this. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is one of these, the iJoy Lux. Now, that one is a lot more involved, so that's why I'm doing this one here today. Okay? Also, not being a Mac guy, I cannot turn around, I cannot address how to do this exactly on a Mac. So, what you're going to see here today is Windows and Windows specific. Up to the point where you actually downloaded the file to your machine, the zip file to your machine. It's going to be appropriate to just about everybody because most browsers work pretty much the same. From that point on, unfortunately, I hate to say this to you guys who are Mac users, you're going to be on your own. But I'm sure by now you know how to download a file from the internet to your computer, how to open up a zip file, and how to extract files from that zip file. From that point on, it's all on you. I'm sorry, I don't have a Mac. I don't know anything about a Mac, so I can't help you out with that. Also, I've been doing a lot of recording this morning and learning how to do these kind of recordings. I'm using OBS here. This is my recording program and my broadcasting program that I use. And I've been spending a lot of time on it this morning to get the download sequence right and to make it look right. So what I'm going to be doing in a minute or two is we're going to be cutting over to that film that I made this morning and I edited this morning to show you how to do the download. Because I didn't want to do it on camera and have the same thing happen like did in the iPower video where you have that window and window and window and window and window effect and have, I don't know about you, but it drives me crazy. It's that perpetual ad infinitum window and window effect. I know it's funky. I really appreciate it. I love the way it looks, but when I'm trying to do a video like this, it's just like, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. Okay? So yeah, I spent a lot of time this morning doing the recording and editing it and trying to get it right, so that way you guys can see exactly what you need to know and be able to follow along and do the actual downloads and everything else yourself. Okay. Yeah. So having said all of that, we're going to cut over to the download video in a minute. Then we're going to come back up here. I'm also going to be going over to my build deck so I can show you exactly what to do and everything else. Now, if this thing turns out right, I also plan on doing a small tutorial on how to put in a logo on your screen. Yes, I have done it. Now, the one that I have here, I've already rolled this back to the original firmware version 4.0. Okay, so you'll be able to see it. Now, one of the things I did here, I downloaded only for the download section, the 4.13. When you do the download for the software, I highly suggest that you download the version of the firmware that you have on your device right now. Okay, pre-upgrade. Now, the way this is coming from the factory, or at least the way mine came from the factory, is with hardware version 1.0, firmware version 4.0. Okay, so I have already previously downloaded the 4.0, and I did the rollback on this to the 4.0, so you can see exactly how to do it from the version from the factory firmware. Okay. Like I said, I also want to do a small tutorial later on how to make a logo, which I already did and had installed in the firmware on here previously. And I'm telling you, it's really cool. I showed it to my wife and she was like, "How'd you do that?" And I'm like, I'm sneaky. You can be sneaky too. Okay. The beautiful thing is that if you're sitting at, we'll say, a vape meet, and you have your device sitting on the table there, and there's like 3 or 4 or 5 or 20 other Reuleaux on there, and there's 2 or 3 of them that happen to be the same exact color as yours, with the logo on there, you can turn around and you'll be able to know yours immediately. Plus, if somebody happens to come over and pick yours up by mistake or otherwise, you can always say, "Hey, that's mine. There's my logo on there." Okay? So, yeah, it's got a lot of, besides being big-time geek value and making you feel like, I could do anything, it also has some very practical considerations to it. So, okay, I've been talking for about 2.5 minutes now, longer than the last couple of these things that I've done and recorded and really didn't like. So I'm just jabbering my jowls right now. So without further ado, I'm going to cut over to the download video, and we're going to go into the download video and you'll see exactly how to go about the download. Then we're going to come back here and we'll take it from there. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit all over the place today. Just telling you right now before anything else, so you can know exactly what's going on. Okay. Here we go. To download the firmware, you open up your Windows browser, go up to the URL bar and type in Wismec, WISMEC.com. Hit your Enter key. That will take you to the Wismec main page. Take your mouse, scroll over to Support, left click. Scroll down the page till you see Software Download. Click on the icon. Scroll down the page to find the Wismec Reuleaux RX200-S. Click on the blue name. This is your latest version, 4.13. That's for Windows right there. Mac is on it just to the right of that. You left click on the bar. That will start the download. When the download is complete, you go up to close your browser, and that's it. Okay, for everybody who's stayed with me so far, great. You just saw how to do the download for the actual file to your download folder in your Windows directory, in your user directory. Okay, now that is going to be downloaded to C:/users USERS / whatever your name happens to be. So if it's in Joe, Bill, Harriet, Mike, Kathy, whatever the username is that you log on to your computer with, it's going to be in that folder, and then it's going to be /downloads. Okay, that's where it's going to be downloaded to. That's the default for all your downloads, or at least it is with Chrome. Okay, I haven't used Windows Explorer in so long that it's not even funny. Okay, so I'm using Chrome, and that's where it downloads to. All right, that's the default. So next thing what we're going to be doing is, I'm going to, bear with me, I need to look around my camera here. What we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over. I'm going to do a fade and jump into a view of my downloads folder, so you can see exactly what you're going to see when you get there. All right, there we are. All right, now what you're seeing is your downloads folder. On here, as you can see, I've already downloaded the 4.13, which is the one I just showed you how to download. All right, now over here, you're also going to see one here that says Reuleaux RX200-S version 4.0. Now, I downloaded this earlier, at just a little after I did the 4.13, so I could do the rollback of the firmware, as I said earlier, to the original version, the way it came out of the box when I first pulled it out of the box and I first got it in the mail. Okay, so I already used that, and what we're going to be concentrating on now is you guys and how you're going to turn around and you're going to go and do the upgrade. So let's go. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over here, we're going to click on the 4.13. That's this one right here. Now the window that you're seeing now, this is what's inside the zip file. And it looks like this because it's still in its compressed format. All right. This is the update wismec.exe. This is the executable. This is the program that is actually going to do the upgrade for you. You'll see that in a minute or two, but just remember this name here that you're seeing here. Now this next one here that you see, it says Reuleaux RX200-S version 4.13.bin. Okay. Now this .bin extension here is what's telling you that this is a binary file. This is a computer readable file, or an electronics readable file, that has all of the settings and all of the programming information. This is the actual firmware that you're going to be upgrading your Reuleaux to. Both of these files are absolutely positively necessary in order to do this upgrade. The executable by itself will not do anything. It'll go duh. And what you need now is to have the bin to tell it what to put onto your device. Okay. Now the next one you're going to see here is logo.bmp. The BMP format stands for bitmap. This is a Windows bitmap. Now the reason why you're seeing this little foxy face icon in here is because I have on my computer here, and it is my default artwork program, GIMP, G-I-M-P. Graphics, interface, manipulation program, or something like that. It is a freeware program. You can download it from gimp.org and install it on your computer, and it is probably one of the most powerful raster programs that are out there. If you don't know what a raster program is, well, I'm not going to get into it because it's going to take too long to go and explain it, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing here. Okay, there are other programs out there. There are vector programs that will give you a much better looking piece of artwork. I don't remember them all offhand right now, so yeah, suffice to say, GIMP is the one that I'm using the most of. I am trying to learn another one, but that's a whole different story. Back to subject here. So what we're going to do now is, like I said, we're looking inside of the packaging of the compressed files. These are all compressed files. You have to extract these files before we can do any darn thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to the extract all files, and you're going to left click on it once, like so. Now let me move this window in here so you can see exactly what you're going to be looking at. Now, as you can see here, it says extract compressed zipped folders. You're going to select a destination for those extracted folders. Now, usually what it's going to do is, if you have this in your downloads folder, it's going to select C:\users. In my case, it's my vaping place. Like I said earlier, if your logon is Joe, Chris, Harry, Phil, Mad Bomber, you know, whatever you log on to your computer as, that's what's going to be right here. Next file here is downloads. That's where the file that you downloaded from the internet resides. Okay, the compressed zip folder. Now the next part here that says Reuleaux RX200-S version _V 4.13, that's the new folder that you're going to be creating to contain all of those compressed files when we decompress them. Okay, so whatever this happens to say here, don't worry about it. Leave that alone. That's Windows default. Don't play with it. However, you do want to make sure that there's a little tick mark here where it says show extracted files when complete. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, just make sure you got that little tick mark there. You're going to come down here to extract, and you're going to left click on it once, and boom. That's what happens. Now, as you can see here, the update wismec.exe has changed to have an icon here that looks almost exactly like the same icon that they had on the Wismec page that you clicked on when you clicked on support. Okay, so now this tells you that this is now uncompressed. Also, what tells you that it's uncompressed is the fact that here you're seeing what the actual thing is, the logo is going to look like when you do an install using this default logo. Okay, this can be changed, and like I said earlier, I'm going to do a video just on how to make a logo for yourself, a custom logo using this file. Okay, now you'll notice also that the bin here, the .bin, that has stayed the same. Okay, this icon, by the way, is for a movie program called VLC. It is also a freeware program that you can download off of the internet. It is probably one of the best freeware DVD player, movie player, music player programs that you can find on the internet. And like I said, it's free. And they always do updates on it, and they keep it updated 5 ways from Sunday. So this is my default movie player. Okay, and .bin also happens to be one of the extensions that they use and have allocated in the program to VLC player. So don't worry about it. It's not going to bother it. The only way you would have an issue is if you would actually go over here and left click on this file, which you don't want to do right now. Okay, so having said all of that, and having probably totally confused you right now, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to click on this in a minute. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition back here to face cam right here. Okay, and what we're going to do now is I'm going to go down to the build deck here. Give me a second so I can turn my lights on here. The reason why I have the lights off is because it is a little hot with these lights on. And oh my God, that is so washed out. Okay, give me a second. We're going to transition down there, and what you're going to see is it's going to be a seamless transition over to it, but I've got to cut the video here for a minute, and then I'm just going to piece it back together again, because I got to go in here and I've got to actually adjust this other camera that I have here. The one I'm using here is a C930 Logitech. It is a fantastic camera. I'm using my older C920 for my build camera. And, well, there's a whole other thing involved with that. So, yeah, just suffice to say that's what I'm using here. So, give me a second, and we're going to go straight down to the build deck, and we're going to turn around, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing, okay? So, hold on a minute. Okay, here we are down on the build deck. Just bear with me for 1 second here. I got to bring something up. There we go. Okay. All right, so here we are. This is the box that the Wismec Reuleaux RX200-S came in. I'm sure if you've got one, you already know what it looks like, so I'm not even going to... I'll just put that there for a minute so you can see that what I'm talking about. Well, this is our little baby here. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is, before you even started doing the download and all that other kind of good stuff, is the first thing you want to do is check to make sure what version of the firmware that you have on your device. So what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to click on the fire button 20 times. That's 20 times, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. As you can see, what just popped up here, actually, let me bring this up a little closer here and bring that in. See? Version 4.0. Okay? One more click brings you back to the user interface. As you can see there, I have the basic user interface the way it came from the factory. Okay? Showing the degrees Celsius, minimum degrees Celsius, maximum 200 watts that this thing came at as a 4.0 firmware. Okay, so as you also, I want to show, make sure you got it. You got batteries in here. All right, obviously, since you turned it on. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and you're going to take your micro USB cable, the one that came in with the device, and you're just going to plug this in here. Now, you may or may not be able to hear this in a minute. Actually, no, you won't be able to hear it because I have headphones plugged in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the headphones out, and I'm going to take this and we're going to plug this in here. Now, with a Windows machine, you're going to hear a sound coming out, going doo-doo-doo, something like that. So here we go. There you go. Now this is connected to the computer. The computer has recognized that this has been connected to it, and it has already configured the files and everything else, the drivers and everything for it, because it's going through the USB interface, so it's no big deal. Okay, so we're going to put this here for a second, and yeah, okay. Let me move some stuff around here. You're going to hear some audio sounds coming through. That's me moving the boom mic over, so that way we can continue to talk here. Also, I got to move my mouse over. Duh. All right, and okay. Here we are, back on the face cam. Okay, now, yeah, I know, this thing keeps getting closer and closer and closer. That's because I'm constantly moving it around. I only got one mic. I got two cameras, but one mic. Okay? And yeah, so. All right, now what I'm going to do here is we're going to go over, I'm going to bring up that desktop folder that I showed you before with the Wismec logo in it. Where is it? Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I still haven't got this thing down right. Okay. What can I tell you? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Wismec updater, or update wismec.exe. This thing right here. And we're going to go one click, and that's the permissions. So we're going to click run, and this is what comes up. This is the actual updater. Okay. Now, as you can see here, firmware version 4.0, hardware version 1.0. These are all going to be hardware versions 1.0 until such time as Wismec goes around and updates the chip or decides to use a different version chip or something like that, whatever. Now, you see here you have update, logo, and exit. All right? Now, this we're not going to be involved with right now. All right? This is the logo thing. Like I said, I'm going to do a totally different video on this at another time. This is what we're going to be dealing with right here, right now. Update. Now, when I click on this, you're going to hear Windows go doo-doom. What's happening is that when you click on that update, it's going to wipe the 4.0 firmware that you have on your device out. It's going to go poof. So when you click on this, it's going to wipe out the firmware that's on your device. Poof, gone. It's going to have no firmware on it. So once you start this, you got to make sure you go through with it. All right, because if you don't, you're going to have a brick there. So this is what you're going to do. Going to click on update. There we go. Now it's going over here, and it's showing you the file that the executable is in. You see, Reuleaux RX200-S version 4.13. You're going to click on this, and firmware update completed. Click OK. Click Exit. See, it just went over to firmware version 1.3. Hardware version 1.0. Going to click Exit. And then you're going to go, then we're going to come back up here real quick. All right, now, that's it. You're done, pretty much. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go over here to the build cam as I move my mic out of the way here. And I go like this. And as I move over, you will see, I'm going to pull this out. Now, you're going to notice that this is pretty much the same. Oh, look, it still got my graphic in there. It still had the graphic in there. Ha. Yeah, that's the graphic I was telling you about that I put in here. Hold on one second. Let me just zoom in on this a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. That's the graphic. All right. My little daisy. Okay. That's what you can put in there. And that's what I'll show you how to do in another video. But basically, yeah. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click this 20 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Version 4.13. Now you've just done the update. There you go. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I am going to go back over here to the face cam, and you can see me moving my dead butt over here and moving this over. That's it. That's it. All done. Your Reuleaux is now at version 4.13. If it'll focus in. Of course it won't focus in. But yeah. Now the only thing you have to do is you have to go in here, and if you had custom TCR values in here for, like, we'll say nichrome, gold, silver, platinum, anarchist wire, whatever the wire, whatever TCR values that you had in here, 316Ls, 317, 317L, you have to put them back in again. Okay, the same way. The firmware is the same. However, there's one little thing here that I'm going to show you. What you're going to do to get to your logo, press this and the minus side. Press it, hold it down. Logo on. Presets. Okay, preheats. You can still do preheat. Now you can do preheats with this thing. So if you have, we'll say, an atomizer that ramps up really slowly. We'll say you got a fuse Clapton in there, and when you're doing the fuse Clapton, it heats up real slow. What you can do with these presets now, with this 4.13 not only the logo in here, but the presets. You can go in there to the presets, and you can set this thing to, if you have it, we'll say, set it to like 33 watts. For the first 1/6 of a second, you can have it go all the way up to 50 watts, then come down to 48, 47, 44, 33, and then keep it at 33 from that point on. So you're basically blasting your coil with a lot of wattage, okay, for the first few seconds, however long you want to do that. If you want to spike it up and then trail it off on a long trail down to your set wattage, you can do that. Or you can go bink, bink, and then come down and then go straight over, okay? 2 or 3 of the histogram bars that are on there, I would suggest you use for and gradually taper it down, okay? That's what works best for me when I've been playing with this, all right? So not only do you have the logo in here, but you also have temperature preheats in here now, okay? That's the reason why I like this new firmware update. This new firmware update in here is fan-freaking-tastic. Not only do I get to play with it and have total geek out with doing my logo, but I can do presets on that. That's it, folks. We've got this done. Now you can go and play with it. The menu system in here is exactly the same as the menu system on the 4.0. You can follow along with your user's manual and do everything. Just remember that it's power and minus held down to get your logo. To turn your logo on, and also to get to your preheats, your preheat presets. Okay? Those are the only 2 differences in the 4.13 firmware from the 4.0. That's it, and I'm out of here. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be ever at your back. May the Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand, and may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. Take care, folks. Thanks for staying with me. Have a great one. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Take care. Bye for now. Hey, everybody. One more thing. If you like what you saw today, do me a favor. Go right over here and hit the subscribe button. Okay? It'll do me a world of good, and it'll show me that you liked what you saw today. Also, right above that is all my social media links. Give me a shout out. Take a look and see what we got. Thanks a lot. Take care. Have a great day.